to convince the wife. She actually sent me. Wait, I'll give you 3 guesses as to the vehicles that she sent me.
I have no idea.
A Jeep 4-door was one of them.
Ugh.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Die Porsche Podcast. My name's Duane, and of course, I'm with JP. I didn't say join this time, JP.
I appreciate that. It's like I feel like maybe there's some respect going on.
A little bit.
Like,
a
hey,
modicum.
I'm part of the show too. A little bit, maybe.
You have so many shows that, like I can only give you a little bit because you're spread so thin between all these other shows.
I do forget which show I'm on sometimes.
It does happen.
I admit that. I've made the mistake of thinking this is Bid Nerds.
Yeah.
When it's not. See, I'm zooming in and out on you.
We're alone.
It's just the two of us. Usually we have a gaggle of morons. Miami J, Chef, and Rami are actually Miami J and Chef will be going to the track tomorrow at Spring Mountain.
Really?
Yeah, so they've got a day there. Friday is like the good day to go because hardly anyone's there. It's just basically open track.
Makes sense.
Everybody comes for the weekend because it is a PCA event. So they got to get up stupid early to go to that. So they didn't want to come here and drink and have all
Makes
be all
sense.
hungover.
Yep.
Switcher Jesus, mental. The guy that's usually in the seat that I'm in, he is in Monaco.
I saw his Instagram feed. I am so excited for him because that is a bucket list item. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
He told us he was going last episode, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm so excited for you!" Like, it just seems amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Except,
have you heard? I don't know. At the time of this recording, yesterday there were rumors that the Monaco race may not happen. Do you know if that's been resolved?
Oh no, I haven't heard anything because of rain. Because I know he was saying there was a rain, but
yeah. So the Modena one in Italy was rained out. Was it a week ago or a couple of weeks ago or something like that? But it's not raining in Monaco. But they can't get any of the cars, or they're having a hard time getting the cars out of Modena because it's still a flood situation there.
Right.
So they can't get the cars to Monaco. At least that was the problem yesterday. So I don't know if that's been resolved. Again, by the time you guys see this, it will have been resolved. But at the time that we're recording, I don't know what the situation is. So he may have just gone to Monaco to hang out and maybe look like James Bond, and he'll have to go to the casinos. Like, oh, wow, casinos.
Still pretty awesome.
We're from Vegas. No, I feel bad if they don't get to do the race thing, but yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a great trip regardless.
Leave one casino mecca to go to another, but
right.
Yeah, I understand like why cars could get stuck in Italy.
Yeah. Because
I have traveled there, and there's kind of a sensibility, I guess you could say, of it reminded me of Mexico, like because I live in Arizona for so many years, and we would go down to Mexico. It's just kind of like the bus shows up whenever the bus driver feels like it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's the same a little bit like how it was in Italy.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but also
it's a vibe, right?
It's a vibe.
Isn't that what the hipsters would say? It's a yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't make for excellent planning.
Yeah, it's not like the track got rain or is flooded, but the roads coming to and from and trying to get all those. I can only imagine the logistics of getting that stuff in and out of there,
right.
And then have to do it in a hurry after infrastructure is messed with. So again, hopefully it happens. Again, by the time this show's on, you'll know one way or the other. But we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Thoughts and prayers for Mental.
For Switcher Jesus, aka Mental from Everyone Racers. Check out his podcast too.
Have you been to an F1 race?
I've never been. I've never been.
So
wait,
Vegas
hold on.
Oh,
that's not entirely true. I was at F1 in like 90.
Not the one at Caesar's Palace. Not the
no,
one. That was like
was
the 80s.
in BC, British Columbia. I think it was one of the last races in British Columbia. I went to that one. Or maybe it was 91. Gosh, I can't remember. It was so long ago. But I have not been to a modern F1 race.
Right. I went to the Iceberg Grand Prix in Phoenix. I'm not even sure if that was an F1 race because I was like 15 at the time and I wasn't really into racing. But I did actually go to a legit F1 race at Circuit of the Americas, COTA.
Oh, okay. Down in Austin. Okay.
Pre-pandemic.
Got it.
And yeah.
How'd you like it?
Actually, really enjoyed it. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really follow. I started to watch the Netflix series at that point, so I was definitely getting more into it. But I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want this episode to turn into an F1 episode. I don't follow it that closely. I've tried to get into it. I feel like I should, being a car guy. I tried watching that Netflix thing, and I was bored to tears.
No way. I thought it was actually really well
That's
done.
what everyone
It's
says,
captivating.
and I couldn't get into it.
I mean, you make a ton of car content, so maybe you're a little biased, or maybe like because you're in that space all the time, you're comparing. Were you in what we call like the movie mode, where you're like, oh, how'd they get that shot, or why did they do this story element?
No, it really wasn't. I was hoping to be drawn in, because it's all about the characters. I mean, that's the thing that F1, again, me talking about F1 is kind of silly. And Switcher Jesus would be pissed, going, "What? You guys are talking about F1? I'm not there. What the hell?"
We should have saved
That's all he wants to do, right? But yeah, I appreciate that F1, like most big sports, makes it about personalities, and that's what keeps people compelled. It's not. There's so many people I know that are into the sport, and they could give a craps. They don't care about cars at all.
That's a good point.
They care about those characters, the Hamiltons and all those guys. But it's just like football or anything else, But I think it's just that I went to our good friend Reduce, friend of the show, and with Solomon and all those guys, because they're super into it. Went over to his house for a couple of F1 watch parties, and you sit there and it's all this build up, and what is the race is like an hour or a half hour or something like that. It's crazy short.
It is. It's very short, but you're right. The actual race is not all that exciting because depending on pole position, like how they qualified, there's not going to be, well, there can be, but typically there's not a huge change in positioning.
Yeah.
One or two cars, they're shuffling around. But like if Lewis Hamilton, in 2021 gets pole position on Saturday, he's going to win the race on Sunday, right? Or whenever it is.
No, I mean,
or maybe it's Friday and Saturday. I don't even know.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know what the hell it is about Europeans and their damn sports. They're so into the most boring stuff. Soccer. I've been to all these soccer games. Like,
it's still 0-0, and we've been watching for 3 hours.
These guys are running around. Yay. It's the same thing with hockey. Sorry, I know everyone here in Vegas
now I
got to
disagree with you
on hockey.
For hockey, because hockey is like soccer on steroids. I mean, they're beating the crap out of each other. They're blindsiding each other. They're having actual fist fights. That's amazing. They're punching each other.
That is a distinct feature to hockey that makes it superior to soccer.
Oh, absolutely.
Soccer, you get like not like it's
you
still
get the
guys
LeBron
going back and forth thing.
flops going on in soccer.
There's no structure to the sport. You can't tell what's going on. It's just I appreciate the nonstop action, but there's no nuance to the sport. You don't know what you can't see a play being set up. It's like baseball, and I'm not a big fan of baseball.
What sport do you like, JP?
I used to be into NFL. And I still enjoy watching football games.
The Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
The Sea Chickens.
Because the Sea Chickens. Because I'm a hometown guy. I'm not a fair weather fan. It's tough being a sports fan coming from Seattle, or at least it was growing up. But
lost
in
the
recent
Sonics
years,
we
lost Sonics, and they always sucked anyway. Well, I mean, they're the only ones that won a championship. The Mariners, which is just tragic. And then the Seahawks. I had a Super Bowl commercial in 2005. That was awesome, and it happened to be the year that the Seahawks got in. Anyways, NFL is the perfect sport because it's a 3-act structure, like filmmaking, right? Mm-hmm. So there's constant scoring, and it's not the touchdowns that are scores. It's you have 3 tries to get a first down. Once you understand that, then all of a sudden it becomes incredibly exciting because if you get a first down, that's essentially a score. It gives you something to cheer for on every single action. And then every time there's you have that play, and then you have that chess game. Everyone's okay, which pieces do I put where to do the next play? Okay, see what happens. And then it's like, honestly, I love watching Texas Hold'em. I love watching.
I do too.
I think that's a terribly fun sport to watch.
Poker Stars for hours on YouTube. I'm just like, wow, this is what's going to happen next.
Right. Because if you know anything about that sport, you can play along. Mm-hmm. Same thing with football. You can say, okay, I know the players on the board. We know that this guy is good at this and he's bad at that. So you can be the offensive coordinator. You can be the defensive coordinator. You can be the coach, and you can say, okay, in between this play, this is what they should do. And when they don't do what you think they should do, you're like, that's stupid. Or, oh, yeah, they're geniuses.
Are you sure you're not from the South? Because your love of football is starting to sound like tailgating and
I don't watch football.
150,000.
I hate to say it, but I stopped watching football because of all the BS. I just stopped. My wife got over it. My wife actually got me into it after not being into it for years, because she's a crazy Pittsburgh fan. Being from Pennsylvania, you're
destined. Yeah, you're obligated.
I've been to a bunch. I've been to Heinz Field with her.
Fun.
Some great memories with sports, but. She got really ticked off.
Sports is constantly devastating. That's the real problem with sports. Like, you get so invested in a team that when they lose, they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, they don't make it to the Stanley Cup, you're devastated and you're depressed. And like, for me, I was big into college basketball, and my team they crapped the bed basically in what the playoffs, right? In the March Madness every year for like the last 5 years, like first round exit, second round exit, like just horrible losses. And it's after you've watched a team the entire year and you're watching the game, and then when they win, which they usually won every game during the regular season, you're watching the interviews, you're watching the player interviews, you get so invested. Then they lose and you're just like, why did I waste my time with this? It's kind of like video games, because I'm a big gamer and I played World of Warcraft for a long time. I'm really losing you on this. I realize that, but you realize, at least I hope you get to a point at some point in your life, if you're a big gamer, that it's just purple pixels. The purple pixels are the most valuable pixels in World of Warcraft. But what does it all mean? It doesn't mean jack squat. You've grinded in this game for thousands of hours, and what do you have to show for it? A purple pixel. Yeah. Right. So it's the same thing with sports. It's like but there's that sense of community, right? I mean, that was. I was just going to say that's the redeeming factor. Is like, your dad was into the Vikings, so now you're you're the Vikings. You got the thing on the wall, and you remember the game that he took you to. If you're our age, being a sports fan from Seattle was the worst, because you never you're just describing what it's like to have a team that's winning all the time and then they always blow it, right? Our teams never won anything. They barely got to the playoffs like once in the 80s, right? It was terrible. I remember we defeated the Supersonics in the Western Conference Finals, my Phoenix Suns, with Charles Barkley, and Sean Kemp was your star player at that time. And we beat you guys down. Yeah, well, I used to go to Sonics games with my dad all the time. He'd win tickets. But, like, you talk about the Seahawks and you talk about disappointment with teams, and to bring this back into F1, being a Seahawks fan and that 2015 Super Bowl loss, the final Seahawks play is known as the worst play call in sports history. You're first in inches with the best running back of all time, and for non-sports people, that means you're like literally inches away from scoring, and you have this guy that can like literally knock over a brick wall. No one can stop him. He's the best running back in history. But anyways, so beast mode, right? Yeah. All you got to do is, you got 4 tries. Hand the ball to beast mode. He's only got to go a foot. And you win the Super Bowl. They didn't give it to him, did they? No, they they tried a trick play. They tried. Yeah, they thought they were going to be clever, and so let's not talk about it. It's bad memories. Pass. Well, let's get on. Yeah, and of course it was intercepted. And now I was at that game. Well, that's like my Cardinals against the Steelers. Same thing. They threw an interception, and the like a linebacker runs it back from the 1 yard line to and scores. So but here's how we tie it back into our automotive podcast here. Sorry everyone, sports sucks, right? I'm watching F1 at a buddy's house that summer, the following summer after that Super Bowl loss, devastating Super Bowl loss, and again, I'm not an F1 fan, and one of the announcers, apparently he's a famous
F1 announcer. If you're an F1 person, he's one of those two guys. And he's got that thick accent.
I can hear his voice.
You can hear his voice, right? I don't know what
is
his
this
name
the
is.
and they're off guy, or
I don't know.
what did they say?
What the hell do I know? But all I know is in the middle of this race, I'm not even really paying attention. Someone in some car does something stupid, and he goes, "I haven't seen a sports decision that bad since the Super Bowl 6 months ago when the Seahawks did." And I'm just like, come on, man. I'm just kind of getting over this. And this guy with an accent, European asshole, is now. Oh, God, it was the worst. Wanted to throw the thing out.
It was such a bad sports play that even the European announcers were familiarized with it.
This world renowned. So just for the record, we didn't dump NFL just because of the woke stuff, which bugs me, but don't really care about that so much. It's the I will make a point of this. The guy from the Philadelphia, what's the guy? The guy that basically tortured and killed dogs. Vic.
Vic.
And was allowed back into the NFL. Rochelle literally threw out all of her jerseys, and she had stacks of stuff.
That's what it was.
It was like, nope, we're not doing this anymore.
Point.
The fact that the NFL would let someone back into the NFL after doing something so egregiously horrible, never mind all the guys that are, beat up their girlfriends and stuff like that. I mean, but
I didn't realize they let him back in.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really follow that because.
I think he barely. I think he did like one season as a backup quarterback or something. Like it was stupid. But the fact that they even, honestly, the fact that they even considered it was just so disgusting. They were like, these guys are really just
no more money.
Take
you don't get any more of my money.
Yeah, F off. And I miss it. Anyways,
So wait, are you gonna do? Do you want to watch the F1 race here in Vegas? Is this coming up?
I don't know. Yeah, God.
I mean, you're gonna watch it on TV at the very least, right? Just be like, oh yeah, that's where they're going. There's Mandalay Bay.
I don't know. We're not allowed to Airbnb our place, which would be, we could make a ton of money.
Oh yeah, because
we're on the strip. I can't see the track from our place because we're too far down the strip, but a place like ours would go for serious money if we could rent it out. But yeah, so I don't know. It just kind of depends on what's going on. And,
wait, you could, wink, wink.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Our building is pretty locked down.
They're gonna know,
they know because it's of where it is. We're right in the middle of downtown Las Vegas, and so Life is Beautiful comes everywhere. And if we could rent our place for $5,000 a night.
He's inside the Plaza Hotel,
right? It's just too much of a pain in the ass, and we don't want to risk getting.
The girl that
stuff
does the kicking thing and the cowboy. His thing is at the top of the cowboy hat. That's where his apartment is.
I sleep right on top of that. Yeah. Wow. So this wound up turning into a kind of a F1 sports thing, but that's not really.
Yeah, sports now is like car. I guess sports are hand in hand with pretty much like your traditional sports: basketball, football, soccer. Because the fan base is growing for F1. I mean, it's exploded in the United States. It's now becoming one of the major sports. Like, I feel like I was going to say maybe it's breaking into the top 4. It's probably after baseball, basketball, football. What else is more popular than those 3? Ice hockey? I think there's more F1 fans than ice hockey fans. Yeah, and I'm a hockey fan.
Yeah, I would think. I would think it's somewhere in there. It'd be interesting to find out. We're not a sports show. We're not into sport. No. We're not really that into sports. It's maybe hard to tell, but I don't know. It's going to be a big thing for Las Vegas to have it here, and there's kind of like. We've talked about Luftkult to death, but like Rennsport Reunion is coming up. I'm way more interested in that than obviously any race here in town. But the thing about whenever you have a big event come to your city, there's always ancillary events, right? There's always other things going on. And F1 is just so danged expensive to go see, even if you're local. And maybe we can get press credentials because of what we do. If I can get press credentials to go and do whatever the hell I want, then hell yeah, I'm going. Right. But if they want me to pay $1,500 for a ticket, I could. Hell no.
$1,500 is going to be like the worst seat.
Basic bitch, yeah. And then you got to pay $8 for a bottle of water and all that stuff. That's just nonsense. It's bad enough on the strip.
But I mean,
so what other things are going to happen? You know, what other parties are going to go on? What other venues are going to have watch parties and stuff like that? So, you know, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something in my building. You know, we have a big. That's one thing that we have in our space in our building. They have one of those really cool kind of party rooms or whatever. And I was thinking about going and reserving that because they just remodeled it and they've got TVs in there.
You better act quickly.
Yeah,
that's going to
I should
happen.
probably do it right now.
I was going to bemoan the pricing of F1, but like. It's what the market will bear, and you're into that. Like I
don't blame them. I don't blame them for charging. I just don't want to pay it because I don't care that much.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be better than Texas.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
I have not been to the Miami race. However, the Strip is greater than.
Yeah.
Don't tell Miami J I said this, but greater than Miami.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's brilliant to bring F1 here, just like it was brilliant to bring NFL, because everybody that comes. I mean, look, you go to that stadium and it's whatever away team, you know, and who cares about the Raiders? Even locals don't really give an ish about the Raiders.
What's more fun than to fly to Vegas for a weekend and watch your favorite team play against the Raiders? Or
I've been to Pittsburgh to watch
hockey.
You know, the Steelers in November in Heinz Field is not a pleasant experience. That sucked. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godden Porsche of Las Vegas and Godden Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godden. This guy. Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about, and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Godden Porsche of Las Vegas.
If you don't subscribe to Bid Nerds on YouTube right now, I'm going to shoot this 997. If you said, wait, that's a 996, you're a nerd. So subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Bid Nerds.
Get those nerds!
Yeah.
From anywhere.
So everybody that's complaining about F1 coming here, it's gonna be so bad for the city's gonna be. Not, dude. This city is all about tourists coming and going. They got it handled. It's gonna be no problem. It's gonna be pretty damn awesome.
And I feel like it'd still be a good time. Like if you're an F1 fan and you don't have $3,000 to get like the basic seats, but you want to come to Vegas and experience all the extra events like you're saying, I do think it would still be worth it, because you can get a flight here for $100 from pretty much anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah,
150.
Maybe
whatever.
not that weekend, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and then you can stay in a hotel that's right on the Strip, probably for not too much. Okay,
that weekend, I think
you're right. That weekend it's going to be inflated, but you could stay at the Rio, right? Even the Rio is going to be more.
Yeah, no, I mean this place is going to be packed. I mean, look at how much. Just like Life is Beautiful. So for you guys that don't know, Life is Beautiful is like Coachella in the middle of downtown Las Vegas. You get a few 100,000 people come here. They literally take up blocks and blocks and blocks of the city and make it into a big art installation, 10 stages, artists playing all day long. I mean, it's just this crazy.
I like it better than EDC.
Oh, it's way. EDC is just in a single venue at the racetrack. Life is Beautiful is, imagine
City
taking
blocks.
the downtown of whatever city, 15, 20 square blocks, and just making the whole thing into a festival, the whole damn thing. This studio is in the middle of it. We get back. So anyways, my point is
yeah, there was like a concert, like we look
right,
out that window.
Out that window right there is the EDM tent, right, and then over there is the country tent, and then they've got the building over there has live comedy all night, and then the biggest bands in the world, whatever. The point is even during that, you can't get a room in this town for less than $600. If you want to stay at the El Cortez, which is usually $50 a night, it's going to be $500. And it always sucks for us because Red Rock, our Vegas Auto Fest that we do every year is always the same weekend. So
that's right.
When we want to bring people in from out of town for
where do I
car
stay?
show, it's
everything's jacked
sorry.
up. All the rates are sky high.
And that's how I know that there's no way in hell I'd be able to get away with renting my space out during F1, because they're used to the same shenanigans going on during Life is Beautiful. But whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Have you ever been in a city when a Super Bowl is going on? Like when I went to the Super Bowl for that Seahawks game I was telling you about, that was in Glendale there, where you're from in Phoenix, and downtown Phoenix. And if you've ever been to Phoenix, I don't have to tell you, Dwayne.
The stadium
it's
is
a
nowhere
huge
near.
ass city, right? Yeah. Downtown Phoenix and Glendale are what, an hour apart, something like that.
Yeah, it's like 40 miles, so
The
an
city
hour
is
drive.
just sprawl in every direction for hours. But the whole, they had this huge area downtown. It was like Super Bowl town, and it was sponsored by Bud Light, which that ain't gonna work now. But they had like this huge party area, and it was absurdly fun for days. They had like 4 days before the Super Bowl. Actually, I think it was for 2 weeks. That whole 2-week Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they
did
stuff
that
going
this last time because my wife went to the Super Bowl in
that's right.
Phoenix,
Okay.
and they did the same thing. They actually did it downtown, and then they had another thing like that in Glendale, right by the stadium.
Yeah.
And she said it was amazing.
Yeah, so I imagine Vegas is going to have the same type of stuff. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be able to go to the, to go and buy the tickets and go watch it. But there's going to be all kinds of other things to do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, right down here in Vegas, there's in downtown Vegas here, a couple blocks from here, there's behind the D. Which is one of the casinos downtown. They've got an entire city block that is that's basically it's an outdoor music venue, but they do NFL watch parties every Sunday during NFL season. So I imagine that's going to be a big F1 watch party. I'm sure.
If you were the number one F1 fan and I gave you $1 million you could only spend it on F1 weekend, where would you stay? Which hotel? What would you buy?
I mean, it's Aria or what's the Cosmopolitan, whatever, Cosmo. Yeah, Cosmo or Aria, one of those two. I imagine
those are your
with
favorites?
that. Yeah, well, I mean, those are gonna be, one, they're the nicest hotels on the Strip, and two, they'll be, Cosmo is probably the one because they got decks. So they're the only ones that have balconies on the Strip. So and you'll be able to see the race from there. So that'd be the one. Even if you're staying at Bellagio, I don't think you'd be able to see anything. So
I mean, you have enough money; they'll make sure you see what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, $1 million. But yeah, I know some of these suites are going to be that much for. It's crazy the amount of money that gets spent on this.
All of these casinos have like little mini secret mansions, for the ultra wealthy.
Yeah,
So those are all going to be booked out.
But they'll probably be more than $1 million, honestly.
Yeah, they could be.
Because it's not like the kind of thing where you'd be able to come in and buy it for one day. They're going to say for that really high end premium stuff, they're going to be like, oh yeah, you got to buy the whole week or the whole weekend or something like that.
So here's a
And
question
it's
for
gonna
us:
probably be $2, $3, $5 million. Who knows?
how do we make some money on this deal?
Yeah,
As locals.
Solomon actually, it was funny because he was like, where we had the premiere for Cars Unknown Porsche Road Trip. There's that cool movie theater downtown near Vegas where, it's like, what's the name of that place? I can't even remember. The Arts something.
Hawthorne or
No,
I thought it was a name.
It's the Art House. Art House.
Art House
The Art
Theater.
House. Art House Theater.
Yeah.
It's one of these movie theaters here in Vegas where they have a bar and they bring
Beautiful
food.
theater.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility. But Solomon's like, yeah, we got to rent that out and have an F1 party. And I'm like, yeah, someone's probably already rented it for that. And he's like, no, nobody's sick of that. And of course he called them. And they're like, oh yeah, we're way ahead of you.
$100,000.
So yeah, I'm sure all the venues like that will have something. I think that party room in my building is going to be about the only option. I don't know. You know what? Depends on what Rami winds up getting for a house. If he winds
Party
up
at
getting,
Rami's house.
there's two houses that he's looking at. One of them would absolutely be the one. We could do something. We could do an event there. So we'll
I
to
have
talk
a
to Rami
giant
about that.
inflatable movie screen.
Yes, let's do
So
that.
I could bring that and have a projector.
Party at the back at Dwayne's house for sure.
Well, I could bring it to Rami's house.
Yes, we could do that.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing for F1? Looks like this episode turned into F1. This is not at all
planned.
what we were planning on talking about at all. But just before we wrap this up, how you feel? You had a car accident this week. Glad to see you're okay, Dwayne.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just got rear-ended by somebody who was on their phone or smoking crack or something.
It was because of my flip-flops. I couldn't hit
Yeah.
the brakes.
Don't wear flip-flops when you drive, please.
Yeah.
It could be dangerous.
We'll check out. Wait, what's your Instagram handle?
It's just my first and last name, Dwayne Wick.
Yeah, check out his Instagram.
It was on my story. It's long gone, but yeah, I mean, this guy hit me doing like 55, totaled my Pathfinder, paid off. Like nice SUV. So I'm just dealing with all the fallout of.
So I texted you immediately after I heard. What did I say?
Yeah.
I was like, one,
just
sorry.
wanted to make sure you're okay, I think is what you.
Yeah, and then two, awesome. You get to get rid of that stupid Pathfinder.
I have complained a lot about that Pathfinder.
It's a terrible car.
It kind of grew
it's one of the
on
worst
me,
cars
like,
of all time.
I mean, it's not a great car. However, it looked decent. It was reliable.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
you could take it to LA and not,
Yeah.
give a crap. It had cold AC, which is important. It's black on black, triple black wheels and all that. So
It's an invisible vehicle,
it is,
which is valuable sometimes.
Actually thinking about picking up a Ford F-150 because I want to tow. I want to be able to tow my cars, and I want to be able to carry stuff outside of the cab.
Yep.
But also carry my family in it, so I want to get the Super Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And you can resell a F-150.
Yeah.
They're always worth something.
Yeah. And they drive pretty nice. I mean, depending on what the newer ones are
about the
freaking nice cars.
V6 turbo. Are you familiar with that motor?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's not my world, but yeah, I know that they're pretty nice, and I mean, not that I'd suggest getting the Raptor version or whatever.
No,
but
no.
Yeah,
I mean the delta between the $60,000 or $55,000 F-150 and the Raptor is like $30,000 or more.
Wow.
I mean, the Raptor is like $95,000.
Holy cat! Well, are you going to get a new one, or are you just going to try to find a pre-owned one?
I think new one because the used car market is a little difficult right now.
It's wonky. Yeah.
The prices are high and the inventory is low.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I just buy a new car and 0% finance for 36
you
months?
can't get 0% finance anymore.
Ford has an offer.
Ford has
right
something
now.
going on? Really?
I just saw it on their website until mid-July. So
nice.
I'm going to try to get that offer, I think.
Yeah.
I just got to convince the wife. She doesn't want me to buy a pick. She actually sent me. Wait, I'll give you 3 guesses as to the vehicles that she sent me. I know you don't know her that well, but
Oh my God,
just
I have no idea.
a Jeep 4-door was one of them.
Ugh.
Right. So
Those are the biggest pieces of esh.
And she's like, no, don't get the truck, don't get a, F-150, get a 4-door Jeep. And I was like, this is the most impractical vehicle of all time. The Jeep Wrangler.
She wanted a Wrangler. I mean, Wranglers. What do you mean? Wranglers are terribly practical. Why wouldn't you?
You can't carry anything in them. Like the doors are thin. Like they drive like hell.
They do drive like crap. They have a V8 one now that I have not driven, and I would like to because that would change everything.
To be fair, the newer ones are more like a typical SUV.
Yeah.
And they're less like a 1942 World War II Jeep.
Yeah.
Like put together in 5 minutes.
The modern ones, I mean, JKs and the JLs or whatever, they drive nice. I mean, but terribly, terribly underpowered in the 6-cylinder version. Again, they make a V8 one that's supposed to be pretty awesome, which I think would be, I mean, I had one, not the V8 one. I had the regular one and I got rid of it because it was just, as much as I've always liked them, they're just terrible on the freeway. But I think the F-150 is perfect. A crew cab. Your wife just doesn't understand. She doesn't.
I'm big too,
Yeah.
so I need a big interior space. Like a Jeep is on a truck frame, so I'm like, my knees are up here as I'm driving.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get that. She's going to give you guff about it, but you're going to get the F-150, and then she's going to want to drive it.
Could be.
More wives,
Actually,
they get into those. They freaking love them.
100% right, because my 2 neighbors down, he drives a pretty cool old. Not a 4Runner, but the
Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she drives an F-150.
Yeah.
And she's like the lady who you would not, expect to be driving that. And then my other neighbor, just bought a Rivian. His wife loves it.
My wife loves. If I got a 150, she would love it. She would drive it all the time. And she's a teeny little woman.
They like to be up high, so they can see.
Yeah. What I would seriously consider getting like an 80s boxy F-150 single cab with a bench seat, then you just have your lady right next to you and then your dog right next to her. That's where it's at, man.
When I moved to LA in 2000, whatever it was, I'm in the South Bay area, which is a pretty swanky part of LA. It's where Manhattan Beach is and El Segundo, that kind of thing. I had my short cab Chevy pickup truck. It had like
a C10?
No, it was like an 89, I think.
Okay. Like a small truck, like the S10 size?
No, it was a full size.
It was full size.
So, yeah. Is that the C10? The C10's the
C10's the earlier one, yeah.
No, this is a full size, whatever.
Okay.
Bench seat, short
K
cab,
something,
short bed.
Yeah.
And we used to drive around, and she'd be on the bench seat right
Hell
next
yeah.
to me. And
love that.
yeah, in the middle of LA, where it's like the most pretentious, part of LA too, and like people are driving around in Lamborghinis and Mercedes and Porsches and whatever, and here I am with my patinaed out brown pickup truck with a bench seat.
Bro, that's what all the hipsters want there, and then they get like a flat hat, like a gaucho hat or something like that.
The best part about that was like I didn't have fear of first of all merging. I would just merge.
Yeah.
And then secondly, parking. Like I didn't, because parking's a problem there.
Yeah.
And you could park anywhere with that car and just not care.
When I lived in LA in the early 90s, I had an old Wrangler, like an 87 Wrangler that was all beat up, and it was the perfect LA vehicle. It wasn't like jacked up, but it was raised just a little bit, had big tires on it. I didn't have doors on it, didn't have a roof on it, and there was nothing in it that I cared about.
Right.
So I could drive to Venice. I lived in Hollywood, so I would just go out to the beach. I would just park it wherever. Like, go ahead, have homeless sex in it. Whatever. I'll just hose it out.
What do they
and
call
drive
it?
Away.
What kind of
hobo
party?
sex or whatever?
No,
there's a part there. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, so I mean, LA. The people get these fancy cars and drive around. It's like it's impossible. But
so yeah, like you're a cab guy, and like if I lived in LA, I would consider it. But you have to live in LA because 95% of the year is 75 degrees out and overcast.
Perfect all the time, yeah.
So you can drive a car without a top all the time and be fine. You're not freezing. Well, you might be a little cold in the morning, but anyway.
I've been driving my 964 drop top around for the last few weeks and loving it.
It's been
perfect
nice,
time of year
actually. Yeah.
here in Vegas. It's going to get hot soon, and that might change, but right now, absolutely digging it. All right, well, that's enough. Duane, we're glad you're okay. Glad the accident didn't take. I'm glad you weren't in your 911 when that happened. That would have been a tragedy for many, many reasons. Glad you're okay. What do you guys think? What's the perfect car to drive around and not care about? What kind of car should Duane get to replace his piece?
Leave it in the
crap?
comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Should he get an F-150?
2023 Pathfinder?
Yeah, the suggestions should be kind of interesting. I know a lot of the bid nerds, the nerd herd migrated over here to the Die podcast. So those guys, they're always watching the auctions. They'll have some good advice. So
yeah, and should I look at used cars at all, or just go for?
That's the thing. If a factory is offering 0% financing, hell yeah. Because the problem with the used cars is that unless you're going to pay cash, it's going to be your interest rates are ridiculous right now, even with good credit. And some of the manufacturers are kind of catching up with supply, but they've all raised their prices. And used cars, people keep saying that used cars, the prices of used cars are going to collapse. It's going to any moment now. It's going to but that's just completely not true. The last 2 years, none of the manufacturers have produced any cars. So, even if the demand is going to stay up because prices are going up on new cars, so people are going to be looking for less expensive stuff. And then on top of that, there's no usually every year, every 24 months, every 12 months, there are tons of off-lease cars that flood car lots, but there have been no cars leased in the last 2 years. It just hasn't happened.
No one needed one. They were
there's none of these off-lease cars that are going, none of the rental cars are offloading their cars. Rental car companies are now keeping their cars for, instead of 12 to 24 months, they're keeping for 36 and 48. So
the rental I have is brand new.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a Dodge Durango.
Orangutan, yeah. So,
okay.
The used car market, I don't see a collapse in used car prices, plus with inflation going on, even if there is some kind of, if there's a bump in the market where, call it a recession, whatever, all that stuff that's clearly coming, it's going to have an inflationary push at the same time, plus you're still going to be low on supply.
Right.
So, What's
Yeah, if I
gonna
can get the
happen?
truck, I think it's a good idea because
I think if you can get that 0% and you can get a brand new truck with a warranty, I think that makes all the sense because you're the kind of guy that's going to keep it for a long time. You're not going to just, try to trade it in every other year like a lot of people used to.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, like we said, let us know in the comments below, what should Duane get as a replacement? Are you going to come to Vegas for F1? Are you down with paying $1,500 or $2,000 or $50,000 to see the race? Do you care that much? I'm actually really curious what the Dur or Die crowd thinks.
Are you a Seahawks fan? We need to know.
You mean are the
viewers?
Are the viewers Seahawks fans? Are you guys still watching NFL? Are you still watching sports?
We had to take it all the way back to all the sports we talked about.
All the sports. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you on the next episode of Dur or Die. Make sure you hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. If you haven't done it already, share an episode to your friends. Let them know that we're here. We are also on Spotify, and soon we'll be on all the other things too.
Wonderful.
So
Are we?
FYI,
Are we going?
we are now on Spotify.
Oh, no
Our
way.
last 3 or 4 episodes
I
are on Spotify.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, look for us in all those places. And
I'm amazing looking, by the way.
Dur or Die stickers.
If
I
you're
don't know how
listening
we're
to
going to give
this,
these
if you're
away.
not watching it.
We've got a new website coming and a bunch of stuff, and so all this swag stuff will be available there.
I will personally mail one of those stickers to whoever gives me the best answer in the comments. How about that?
And we'll throw in a Rami show hat, a brand new Rami show hat with a Rami condom on the front. How do you like that?
Leave it on there. Yep.
Condom.
It's like the
Rami
Dodge sticker, yellow stickers on the little.
That's the thing to do. All right. See you guys next week.
See ya.